What's going on, guys? You already know what it is. It's the College Football Podcast. I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones, and we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be on everybody's favorite podcast each and every week. You know, we're the College Football Podcast. You already know what it is, and we just got through a crazy game on Monday, and we're gonna talk about it right here, guys. But I just want to see how you are, man. How are you feeling today, sir?
I'm okay. I've been a little under the weather the last couple of days, but I'm okay.
Yeah, I just got over sickness too. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast. I was sounding real bad, but I'm feeling good right now. I'm feeling 100%, except that I get cough at night. But man, y'all guys out there, stay safe. Make sure you're staying safe out there, and be good. We got our first comment already. All right, cool. That will be. I'm thinking that's Remy. What's up, my man? Thanks for being on with us today. We're gonna talk some Georgia. I will see who that is in a second, but let's just talk right about it because that championship game was crazy. Literally both games. I thought the opposite on both games, how it was going to turn out, and you know what? I'm not mad about the results. I mean, I'm happy that as if you guys don't even know, Georgia did win the game. So that's games. I think that's pretty cool to see that. So I'm not mad about the results. I think that was really cool that we oh, it's Avery. What's up, Avery? What's going on, man? I was trying to find your name. So what's up, Avery? Appreciate you being on with us as always, supporting RPO Podcast. And make sure you guys check out Air It Out Podcast. It's gonna be out tomorrow. They're gonna be talking pro football. And you guys definitely want to make sure you check that out because you got the players coming on. The NFL players is here. Ray, your team's not in it. I'm so sorry. But my team is. Let's go, Eagles. But anyway, we're gonna we're talking college. We're talking the championship college football team and game. So I'll say that for tomorrow. But I want to hear what was your initial reaction to how this went?
Surprising and not surprising.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Jacob. I am so sorry, Jacob. Spoiler, if you have not seen it, it's a live event. I'm very surprised that you haven't watched the full thing yet, Jacob. So make sure you go watch that immediately. But go ahead.
Talking about the championship game.
Yeah, he DVR'd it. I don't know how you
How do you not know who won 2 days after the game?
I don't know. It's no way that he can't get spoiled about it before. Maybe talking about the details of the game. I don't know. But go ahead, Ray. Go ahead, Ray. That was weird. I
mean, like we had touched base earlier. I think that if we would have known that John Mechie wasn't going to play before we made our picks, and then we kind of knew going into the game he was going to play, and then losing Jameson Williams, that was the clincher. When that happened, Bama basically played a bunch of zone in the backfield and just basically never let Alabama establish any kind of running game. And that really kind of did them in. Put everything on Bryce Young. I mean, I felt really sorry for Bryce Young after the game.
Yeah.
Their offensive line has not been as good this year as it has been previous years. We already knew that. Alabama's defense has been a little suspect this year. We kind of knew that. Georgia was able to run the ball enough to keep their defense honest. And I know but it's fitting that Georgia's defense really was the difference in the end because they had been the difference most of the year anyway. So,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that I think it was crazy that, like Avery's saying, man, that offensive line did not help him out at all. Like, really didn't help him. He threw. I mean, it's crazy because you look at the stats, and I'm about to pull. I have the stats right here. Bryce Young, 35 completions for 57 attempts, 369 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. His stat line is not horrible. It's not horrible. But
except for the 2 picks and the pick six at the end that kind of put the clamp on the games.
Yeah.
Again, but like man, you hear me, Jerome, I say this all the time. If your quarterback is the only one on your offense is making plays, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And like you said, you got Messi that was out of the game. We already came into the game knowing that, but the lose Jameson Williams was huge. It was really huge because
if you remember the first game between these two teams, Messi and Williamson were the difference in the game, basically.
100%, 100%. Before I get to my next point, Bama should have ran more on the outside more. It's funny you said that. I'm gonna explain why. They maybe might have been better off one doing more RPOs and two bringing in Sanders for outside runs, tosses, etc. It's funny you say that, Avery, because I was literally saying that about Michigan's last week. So if you haven't watched their podcast last week, go check that out and watch my explanation of why I thought Michigan lost and what were some couple of things that I thought they should have done in that game. But that was one of the things that I was saying about Michigan against Georgia. They should have did a lot more outside runs instead of trying to run inside with that big boy right in the middle down there, man. That guy is dominating, and he really put some great tape out the last two games for real. Because I mean, he dominated some. I mean, don't get me wrong, Alabama's offensive line wasn't the greatest, but I mean, Michigan's offensive line was considered one of the best in the league, and he destroyed them as well. So I said the same thing. I was like, you cannot try to run up the middle with this man. He's gonna body you, and that's basically what happened. So, Ray, you got anything to say about that part of it?
I don't disagree with you. I just think that you got to remember when you have a quarterback like Bryce Young who can move, you don't want to have guys going around the end and keeping him in the pocket. You want him to be able to run around and make plays. If you run outside, he's not able. He doesn't have as much room for him to roam around and make plays.
Yeah.
I mean, man. Alabama was in the game right till the end, and that last pick basically did him in. Again, I felt sorry for Bryce Young because he really took the whole game on his shoulders and took the blame for it, which it never is one person's fault. It never is. But
that's one of them interceptions where it's not like one of those blown-headed interceptions. You're like, dang, man, like, why you do that? That was very costly. That's one of them interceptions where you trying to make a play, man. And at that point in the game, and you're down like that, and you got to make a play, and he tried to make a play, and it didn't work out. It happens. It happens all the time.
Absolutely.
He also says, then having those young corners hurt, they still should have played better, but they're clearly showed their inexperience. Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. So
absolutely.
Let's get to the injury of Jameson Williams, because we always talk about, and we're gonna still stick on the subject of the game, but we're gonna take some aspects from the game specifically. Jameson Williams gets injured in, I believe, the first quarter. Obviously, he's gonna be a guy that's most likely gonna go in the draft. How much would this affect him in the draft process, Ray?
I don't think it'll affect him at all, depending on what the injury is. I'm really not sure what that is.
It's an ACL. It's an ACL.
Then
let me confirm that, but I'm like 95% sure it's an ACL.
Well, then it's absolutely going to hurt him. I mean, he's not. Yeah. He's going to fall for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely ACL. They said I remember reading it on Twitter as well that the doctors say it's nothing where he's going to lose speed going up, but it's going to be some recovery. So,
yeah, I mean, the question is how long the recovery process are we talking about? That's going to be the number one factor.
Yeah, because honestly, the last couple of years I heard it's supposed to be 8 weeks. I mean, I'm sorry, about 8 months, and it's been a lot faster than that lately. So, I mean, I guess it depends on the person, who treats that person, this and that. But generally, from what I remember, It's about 8 months.
Yeah.
But then you don't actually, until it's really full.
What you'll see now is you'll have to go with only game film, which, man, the game film is incredible. So that's not going to bother him.
Yeah.
The question is, he's not going to be able to test. He's not going to be able to run. He's not going to be able to jump. That's going to hurt his process without a doubt. So
100%. Avery says Atlanta should draft Jordan Davis if he falls to 8. Jameson will be round 2. Either late first round or early 2. I do believe that. This is a rich wide receiver class, that doesn't help him being injured this late in the season too. So I can definitely see him going in the second round. I think that, and it says wishful thinking. So you think Atlanta's going to be able to get 2 Georgia players like that? I mean, you might be right. It's possible. It's definitely possible. That would be crazy though. That would be. I mean, I think Atlanta.
My question for Avery is this: who was the quarterback for Falcons next year?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. And I am going to ask you a question, football NFL related, at the end of this. I had to ask that question. So
I'm listening.
We're going to talk about it, but let's finish what we're talking about. But Jameson Williams, I think that I feel bad for him. I hope that he recovers well. But this is just bad timing on that part with that, right?
We have seen that unless it's a catastrophic type of injury where blood flow is a problem, where these guys come back from these injuries in pretty good shape. Again, he won't be able to go out there and blow you away at the combine, which is what's going to hurt him a little bit. But he's going to get drafted pretty early still.
Definitely. All right, let's get back a little bit closer to the winners. Obviously, Mr. Kirby Smart finally beats his nemesis, if you want.
His former daddy.
Now, I guess you could call him his brother.
Yeah,
because he only got one win out of it. I mean, one of the more important wins, but he only got one win out of it. But he finally got over that help. Where would you place Kirby Smart's legacy now? Like, do you think that he's one of the best coaches now? He's been around for a while.
He's obviously one of the best. He's been one of the best defensive coaches in college football for the last 15 years. But the fact that he got like the so-called monkey off his back is only going to help him now. I mean, it's going to help him recruiting wise. Can't believe coaches. Okay, that's number one. And if Atlanta doesn't try to trade Matt Ryan, they're stupid.
Yeah. Atlanta would be too much of that. Yeah, no, honestly, I think they would be in a lot of cash grab for if they got rid of Matt Ryan, but you never know. Like Ray said, you never know. These coaches would be lying.
I'm not talking about cutting them. I'm talking about trading them and getting prospects and value for them while you still can.
Yeah. So
I mean, there's teams out there that need quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Matt Ryan in a Steelers uniform right now would look tremendous.
I don't disagree. But let's get back to Kirby Smart. What's your take on him?
I think that, again, he's been one of the best defensive coaches in college football for a while now, and this is only going to help his legacy. I mean, I don't think that it's going to. I mean, it's not going to elevate him up in the Nick Saban status, but nothing else is going to do that either. So,
Yeah, nah. I mean, I think that just helps him out in a tremendous way. I just think that now he has to show more consistency as far as being able to beat Nick Saban. He got the one, which is great. He caught Alabama in probably one of their worst years in a sense because
the funny thing is you say one of their worst years and they were in the championship game.
Exactly. But Ray, no, because we were talking about this all year too, Ray. It's just that they were very inconsistent. There was like they lost against Texas A&M. Who was it? Texas A&M or Mississippi?
No, Texas A&M.
Yeah, okay, yeah, they lost Texas A&M, which I always say that Texas A&M had a very talented team, and they might be one of those teams that are going to be really good next year, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I just think that they had that offensive line issues. The only really good offensive line they had is Evan Neal. Young quarterback, a defense that just got replenished. A wide receiver core that just got replenished. I mean, nobody thought Jameson Williams was going to be as good as he was coming from Ohio State. So I just think that, with the team that came into the season, it was a lot of question marks. And, between them, Ohio State, they still had a lot of talent. They still had a lot of good players, just not, and we knew they were still going to be one of those top teams. But to say that Alabama was going to be this world-beating team, we really couldn't say that. Now, and that's another reason why I was very surprised at the first Georgia game, because they played Georgia and they beat them up, and I was just like, this is coming right after an Auburn game that I was struggling on. That is crazy. So, and maybe me and Ray had this conversation on Saturday where Georgia was favored by 2.5, and me and him was like, no way. But maybe thinking about it, we might have been a little, overthought it, honestly, because it is Alabama. But like we've been saying all season, they've been not the same type of Alabama team, although they're still a really good team. We just thought that they wasn't going to be that same level, and they really showed that they wasn't. So
I was a little surprised by how well Georgia ran the ball.
Oh,
that surprised me a little bit.
Definitely. Oh, for sure.
That surprised me a little bit. Yeah,
definitely. Not that one. Kirby has shown that he's a great coach. This solidify him as a top guy. Even if it was a bad year for Alabama, it will most definitely help in recruiting. Oh, 100%. I mean, he didn't need no help in recruiting. That Georgia gets a lot of good recruits. Let's not act like they don't get good recruits now. They always have been, and for a while.
Yeah, I think that's the most frustrating thing about it. Like, Georgia always has talent. They just never were able to get over the hump. Now they get over the hump. I mean, for 1 year. If here's the thing, if somebody were to say to me right now, you gotta put your money on next year, Bama or Georgia, I'm still taking Alabama. I'm sorry, man.
100%.
I'm sorry. And my wife, like we talked about on Saturday, my wife Ruth is a Georgia fan. She loves UGA. I feel good for UGA today. Okay, so I was glad they won. Even though I picked Alabama, I was glad that they won. I did a smart thing, though. I bet for Alabama to win the game, but I bet on the under because I kind of covered both ends. I thought if Georgia wins, the under will win. If Georgia loses, then I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just IG. It helps even more. I'm not sure what IG is, but that focus on my camera. Not sure what you meant by IG. Instagram? I just Instagram. It helps. I don't know, but but yeah, I agree. Like, Georgia have good recruits no matter what. So that's never was in question. I never will say that. I just think that Kirby Smart finally just felt good about himself this year, and he did what he had to do. And truth be told, he showed it in the Michigan game, man. He had a perfect game plan. He was not playing no games. You could tell he was highly upset after that Alabama game. Like, there was no type of celebration in that. I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, in their one of their games, I think he said no. Like, they was about to
they were dumping the Gatorade. They were going to dump the Gatorade on. He was like, no, not yet, not now. We have not won. You literally you can see him. You can see him mouthing to him. We have not won anything yet.
Yeah, he was
good for him.
He was
good. Good for him.
Serious. He was so serious. He was like, "Do not put that Gatorade on me. We didn't win nothing yet. When they beat us last week. And he was just like, no, we have." And you could tell he was Kirby Smart was locked in. And kudos to him, man, because this is the first time I ever seen him just not nervous. He was just locked in, like he was especially once I see him not want that Gatorade bath. I was like, man, this guy's locked in.
Yeah, man. Let's face it. Georgia's been recruiting for 40 years, so let's not act like
Oh,
it's new. You know.
definitely. I mean, but it's crazy because for them to have the great recruits they have, they haven't won. They haven't won it all since 1980 something.
Yeah, well, they play in the same conference as Alabama and the best conference in college football.
Yeah.
So coming through that is not easy. So
no, you're right. You're definitely 100% right. You're definitely 100% right. There was something I was thinking about earlier. As far as and I know me and you talk about the playoffs all the time. And I'm just hoping they expand it. But do you think if they did expand it, will it hurt the championship games in any kind of way?
Only if there's injuries taking place. That's the only way it could hurt anything. Is if guys can get hurt. Well, let's face it, Jerome. Like we said we were saying, if they open this up the right way, teams they're going to make billions.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So 100%. We all know that the good feel story with NCAA football is money. Okay.
Definitely. Avery said, gotta go. Stay safe, stay blessed, fellas. Hey Avery, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you being on. I understand you have to go. Definitely check us out on our YouTube channel if you want to continue this conversation. And if you have any questions or comments, anything, you definitely pick the comment section on YouTube. And that goes for anybody. If you're not watching live, if you're watching this on YouTube, definitely pick the comments down there. We will make sure that we comment back on any comments that you have on this video. So thanks again, Avery, for being on. We appreciate you being on. And good night. Be safe. And God bless for you as well. So my concern with the playoffs, and I was just thinking about this earlier because I'm just like, I'm always thinking about like, man, they need to hurry up in Spanish. Like, it's fun to watch this, obviously, but it's only 4 teams. Like, my only concern was that if you expand it to past 4 teams, right, that allows more teams to get in, even if they don't win their conference championship. So if that's the case, then would they really need that conference championship? I mean, obviously it will help with seeding, obviously. So, but I'm a little afraid that kind of like the NFL, where you have that last game and it doesn't really matter, especially if you're already locked in a seed. Do you think that's gonna kind of affect some of these conference games? Like, hey, we are locked into like 7. You don't even have to play this game really. It's just to put on paper, I guess. I mean, usually it is a rivalry game, so that kind of helps. But what's your thought on that, Ray? Because I was just thinking about this earlier. I was like, maybe that's something that they're thinking about that can potentially.
Georgia lost their conference game and didn't keep them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. Like, and actually, that my thought of actually derived from that because there's people that was saying, and I don't like to have controversies, and I don't usually bring out controversy, but some people were saying Georgia didn't play that hard in that game because they didn't really need to. They didn't want to show their cards. They didn't really need to show the cards.
Well, now it looks like
maybe if they want or not.
I still think that Alabama losing their 2 starting wide receivers hurt more than anything else.
Oh, no, 100%.
But I do think there is some truth, I guess, to the fact that maybe once Georgia fell behind, they weren't as worried about it. But again, like I think that do you think that there's other teams in the SEC that probably should have been in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Well, then the answer is you should expand the playoffs and don't worry about it.
Yeah. And that's tough, man. That is so tough. But then, all right, so let's say, would you want it to be conference champions always have to win? So obviously the smaller school teams will get in if they win the conference championships.
Well, that should be
after that you'll go off of rankings, or would you just go straight off of rankings? Because then you're still kind of keeping a lot of the human element in that too.
I think you'll probably use both. I think we'll use the rankings as a platform, or where you start at is right with the rankings.
Yeah.
Then honestly, but here's the other thing though, Jordan, you got to remember. Every year we talk about teams going to bowls and
Yeah.
they're not playing well because they didn't really care about going to that bowl game. They wanted to go to a different bowl game. They're not in the playoffs. Now, if you don't play well in that last game, in that bowl game, maybe you don't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe that gives you a reason to go out there and play hard in that game.
No, you're right.
Where and who you're playing.
No, you're right. And then, with more teams going into, and we said this last time, the more teams that are in actual playoffs, the less likely you'll have a Kenny Pickett that sits out a bowl game,
Correct.
or any other player.
Well, that's another right. That's another thing. I didn't get in on that, but yeah, it'll make it so maybe some of these players that sit out these games, maybe they won't sit out the game if they have a shot at a national title still.
Definitely. Yeah. As we're talking about this, actually just scrolled through a article. It says college football expansion delayed as officials failed to form consensus over numerous issues. Woo. Okay, let me kind of skim through this. While I'm skimming through this, Ray, anything else you wanted to add to, like, maybe some of the pros and cons of the playoffs?
Well, again, I felt bad for Bryce Young because he tried to put the team on his back and couldn't quite get it done. And I thought that the way Nick Saban came out and defended his team and his players during that press conference when media people, and I know technically we're in a way part of that, but anybody that would ask a young man about how do you feel at being out there while they're scoring the winning touchdown against you? You're a moron, okay?
Yeah.
Why would you ask a kid that question? And again, I'm glad that Nick Saban didn't even ask the kid to answer that question. He kind of stepped in and told, yo, man, why are you – he literally, in a roundabout way, said to the guy, why would you ask him that question? How do you think he feels right now? We just lost the national title. I mean, it's like asking me how I feel if I get punched in the face. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So, again, Nick Saban showed class, which he doesn't always do. And his players, man, Alabama plays hard. Bryce Young played hard. He's played his butt off the whole year. And, again, it was just a little bit more than he could do by himself.
Yeah. I mean, you can take any quarterback. I mean, you can't even say Tom Brady, to be honest. Like, take away that many pieces, and don't get me wrong, Tom Brady played with a lot of lower name guys. Jerome, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm gonna see who that is. That is what's up, Lou? What's up, Lewis, my man? Before I continue, congratulations to Lewis if you are still watching. Congratulations to you. He beat me in the Inside the Hashes fantasy football team game. I had to get him his acknowledgement. So congratulations to you, Lewis, man. You my boy. I hate you, but I love you, man. So congratulations to you, man. My team did not show up at all. So kudos to you and your team and your victory there, bro. So kudos there. He is laughing at me. You don't get to laugh at me when I just say kudos to you. No. Oh man. But definitely. But let me read off this article real quick because it has some intriguing stuff that is talking about with the playoffs. So obviously it's saying that they were saying there is very disappointing. The first meeting they want to expand it to eight teams. They spent over 8 hours over the course of 3 days trying to get something. According to this, according to the college football executive director, Bill Hancock, and I think we mentioned him last time, is that they not closing the door on expansion. But if it did, it would not occur before 2026. That's harsh. That's some time away. That's 4 years from now. We was going over overtime, he says, and blah blah blah. So some of the key issues that they're having, and Ray, maybe you can expand on this. I'm not gonna read the entire article or anything like that, but one of them was automatic qualifiers, so who automatically gets in, blah blah. The model of it, how they want to do it from 5 to 6, whatever, how that goes. Revenue distribution, and I think that probably should have been the first thing they said because it's probably the number one thing. The next thing is bowls, how they're going to treat the bowls and things like that, and then health and welfare. They said so. With that being said, right there, Ray, what are some of the things that kind of stuck out to you when I was just talking about some of the key issues?
Money is always the number one issue with everything. Two, I don't know who that gentleman is that you just named. I don't know if he's associated or affiliated with any conference, but usually that's the case. You have a conference in mind, or you have your favorite conference, whatever that may be. And like usual, you got a bunch of grown men acting like little kids.
No, seriously.
Who cares what's best for college football? Let's make it what's best for us. Sounds like the government.
Make it best for the fans and best for what's going on with this college football. So,
and I understand the whole thing with injury. You know what? You could get injured walking down the street every day.
Give me 1 second, Ray. I'm having trouble hearing you. Give me 1 second. And it's not you. It's not you. But yeah, I think it's a lot of the revenue and stuff like that, and they always blame it on that. And yeah, I get that, but you can find ways to distribute the money. And
how about this? How about if you just take all the revenue and split it amongst the teams evenly and amongst the conferences evenly? Is it that hard, really? Again.
Yeah. But
what should seem simple is always hard when you got grown-ups acting like children.
And right, the thing too is that, like, I know some of the issues is gonna be the difference between giving the money to Alabama and giving it to like a UTSA who had a great season this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Are you gonna evenly split the money between those two?
Yeah. Yeah,
and that's the thing. I think NCAA is like, because like, all right, let's say a UTSA beats Alabama in the first round. God forbid, somehow that happened, right? They move on to the next round. Are they gonna get as much money for that game if Alabama's playing in that one? And I think that's the issue, and that's very unfortunate. That's very stupid. That's very unfortunate. But I don't agree with it, Ray.
So now we're worried about if Alabama will lose to a team that they have almost no shot of losing against. Okay, all right. Again, I am looking at what's best for college football and the fans of college football. I don't care about some old crotchety white guy with a 3-piece suit who wants to decide who's going to get more pennies than the other guys. Okay, I'm not worried about that.
Definitely. Well, and I'm gonna read into this a little bit more. Maybe we can touch a little bit. I'll just literally just skim through it. But I mean, I hope some way, somehow they come up with some decision, and maybe they will have something before 2026, but it's not looking likely right now, and that hurts.
No, of course it won't happen. By the time it'll happen, I'll probably be dead. It's okay.
No, man, no, Ray, you're living till you're like 300, man.
Well, let's hope. But right now, it's 2026. In 2026, it'll be 2030.
You're right.
Until people stop arguing over pennies.
Yeah. That's always a tough thing. But let's get to our last subject real quick, so we can I really want to talk about this because it's very interesting how these polls look. So we got the post championship polls that just came out just yesterday. So a day after the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the rankings are actually really surprised me. So I'm gonna go through them real quick. The first three, you're just gonna be like, huh? Even actually number 4, I was really confused on it, but here it is. Alabama's number 1. I don't see that much changing yet. They still Alabama. They still have the Heisman Trophy winner on that team. So no big surprise there. I think a lot of the defensive players will probably stay. We'll see. We're still gonna have Will Anderson. He's probably gonna be in Heisman talk next year. So I think they got two players that's probably gonna be a Heisman talk next year. I don't understand. Got number 2, Ohio State. Little surprised on that because I think Ohio State's about to lose a couple of their receivers. And they got some young guys that are still there, and they're really good players. I wouldn't put them there, but I'll let you get your opinion after I talk about at least the next 10. Number 3 is Georgia. Won a championship. Why did number 3? I don't understand. They have a lot of players that's still going to be coming back. I mean, Bennett Stidham isn't coming back, but I still not super high on him.
I think the 2 players for Georgia that will leave are the big defensive tackle. He's going to leave.
Yeah.
And the Kirby Neal is going to leave. So that's going to be 2 guys that are going to be huge guys that they are going to lose. They still should not be any lower than number 2, but there are 2 real good players that are going to lose next year.
No, I agree. No, and I agree. But I still think, they got the young core. I mean, the young core of the team that's going to be there. And
again,
they're definitely a major part of it.
You could argue they won a national title. They should be number 1, but they definitely should be no lower than 2. So
I agree. Number 4, Oklahoma.
You know what, Jerome? I'm not going to say that's exactly correct, but with the addition of a defensive coach now, I think Oklahoma could actually be in contention next year. I do.
That's hard for me though. They lost a lot of, not only just the coaches, they lost players, people transferring, and they still don't have Dylan Gabriel did transfer there, but is that going to be enough to make them a big shot team? I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of talk about Ohio State's coach getting an NFL job too. How about if that happens? That doesn't change Ohio State's outcome. The Ryan Day must not be that great of a coach, right?
Yeah, you're right. But Ray, you got to remember, Ohio State's players are not leaving though. A lot of Oklahoma's players left, including their best quarterbacks. Well, both of their best quarterbacks. Their best tight end. I think 1 or 2 wide receivers, and then a lot of the recruits flipped on them. So that's hard for me. I don't know with Oklahoma. I don't agree with Oklahoma more than I disagree with Ohio State, which I think Ohio State should probably still be 3. Number 5 is Texas A&M. I actually think Texas A&M should be higher. I think they're going to be that team that surprise people.
I think they should be higher than Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Number 6, they got Baylor. Again, I'm never overhyped on Baylor. They look good for 1 year and they go back down to normal status. So we'll see about that. I mean, it's still early. Number 7 is Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame is going to be a lot better, to be honest. I really do, than this year. Marcus Freeman, I think they're going to play their tails off for him. I really think that's a good spot for him. And you're going to have some good players in there. They got LSU at number 8. We'll see how that goes. Not super high on that one. Number 9 is Clemson. I think Clemson's going to be a lot better than they were this year. So we'll see. Number 10 is Arkansas. Again, they had a surprise team. They got a lot of players that are coming back, so we'll see about that. And I'm just going to add this last one in there because obviously it's my team. Number 11, Michigan. That is a big draw. And I to be honest. But Ray, let me hear what you guys say about this rankings. What do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I just touched base. I think that Georgia should be no lower than 2. Yeah. I think Texas A&M should be ranked higher than Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. I think Michigan should be way higher than number 11. Of course, part of that may be the rumors about Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan. That may have some play in it. And if that does happen, I could see them slipping a little bit from where they ended this year. But if not, I think Michigan should be at least a top 5 or 6 team.
Yeah. If Harbaugh leaves, I would not be that mad about seeing how I wouldn't be mad if they promoted Josh Gaddish.
No, I think that would be a solid move, and it would help them recruiting for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, go ahead. Any other surprises from that list?
I'm not surprised Baylor's in the top 10. Like you said, they're not consistent enough for me to be in the top 10. I would change them in Michigan and Baylor. That would be the first thing I would do.
I agree. And they got Utah at 13. That's another one that popped in my mind. I think they should be a little bit higher than that. Oregon's at 18. Maybe a little.
Well, that depends. Are you going to pick every game for Utah next year, or?
I'm gonna be very scared how I picked them because I did. Hey, I did mess up their. Wait, they won a bowl game, right?
They did. They won a bowl game.
So I got one right. I got one right this year. I got that one right. So maybe the luck might be changing next year. We'll see. Let's see what else we got here. Michigan State's at 20. No Kenneth Walker. Definitely understand that. Offensive line might be a little bit different. At 20 though, that's a big fall for them. Cincinnati at 23. They're going to be losing a lot of big names though.
They are.
So I agree with that, and we'll see how
there's talk about Luke Fickell leaving them and going to the NFL also.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, if that happens, I understand why they're 23. Penn State's at 24, and Oklahoma State's at 25. So honestly, for the most part, I'm not mad at the list. There's a couple of guys at the top that I'm just like, all right, like Oklahoma being that high. Number 4, Oklahoma, nah. I get maybe 10, maybe top 5, but yeah, just not a number 14. Not in my opinion. So. All right, well, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thank you all for checking us out on the RPO podcast. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good junk right there. Make sure you go on our website, insidethehatches.com as well. You find all our content. Make sure you go on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And also make sure that you go and check us out on YouTube, like, subscribe, and everything like that. But before we get off, I forgot to ask something, Ray.
Good.
I want to hear your take. You haven't put this on camera, so I want to say this on camera. I actually want this on camera. It is an NFL question.
You're going to ask me why Miami fired their coach?
Yes, the man had 2 winning seasons back to back. Yes, they missed the playoffs on each one. Barely 1 game missing the playoffs. So if they would have won one more game, they would have went to the playoffs. They won their last game. He was definitely creating something in that building. Yes, a lot of people had questions about Tua. Tua started turning it around this season. It looked a lot better than he did in the beginning of the season when he was getting a lot, for whatever reason, Tua was getting criticized as a rookie. Didn't make sense. I mean, y'all didn't have an offensive line. I didn't have any running backs really in that team. I don't understand why they fired him. Go ahead, Ray. Let me
you just answer your own question. His inability to believe in Tua, and he's the reason why all these trade rumors have been around all year. I got a message from Ryan Monday morning. What are the Dolphins doing? I said, I don't know what you're talking about, because I had not heard about Brian Flores being fired yet.
Yeah.
And then I heard it, and I've been looking into it, and I've been listening to this and listening to that. And you know what, Jerome? I'm not saying it was a good move. All I'm saying is his inability to believe in Tua cost him his job.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. I mean,
well, if I were to ask you this, what do you think of Tua? And I'm going to ask you what you think of him as a player and what do you think of him as a person?
I think as a player, I think he is still developing. I still think that, first year, I'm not even going to sit there and give him the whole he was a good thing. And man, just coming off a hip injury, and he wasn't even supposed to really play last year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to play. So
That
that year, I'm not even gonna count that. This year was essentially kind of his rookie year, even though he had some experience.
Mm-hmm.
He showed some great stuff. Now, granted, he was injured sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
still injured, but
Mm-hmm.
this is his second year in the league. Like, what do you?
So, what do you think of him as a person?
A really good guy. I think he's. I wish he would.
Do you think that
God. I wish he kind of showed a little bit more confidence in himself because he don't always seem as a confident person. But I think personally, I think good.
God, I'm sorry. I got to finish what you were saying.
No, I was gonna say I think he's a really sweet kid and he really values family and things like that.
He was confident enough to when Brian Flores started questioning his heart after the Tennessee game, he got up and got into his face where they had to be separated on the plane.
Ooh,
that's Tua.
Ooh, I never heard that.
Yes, wow. That's Tua. He had to be separated from the coach because the coach was getting on him about he didn't play well. It wasn't that the team didn't play well. He didn't play well.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
Okay. You had Ryan Tannehill out there, threw the ball 14 times, right? Ran the ball for 140 yards, whatever it was, 170 yards.
Yeah.
Miami ran the ball 17 times and threw the ball 35 times in a snowstorm.
Yeah, that's on the quarterback.
Now there's another report that Tua was not going to play last year at all, but Brian Flores put him out there to prove a point.
I give you that.
Dude, I'm not drunk. I like Flores. I do. I think he's a good coach. I think he's going to land on his feet. He's going to be fine.
Yes.
But I've heard people say that he was walking around like Matt Patricia, like he invented football.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's way better than Matt Patricia.
No. He's a good
I'll
coach.
Take him on the Eagles. I'll take him on the Eagles.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not a good coach.
Yeah.
I think that he has a problem dealing with certain people. Mm-hmm. Okay? I think that people didn't like him, and he wasn't getting along with players or coaches.
Yeah, I mean,
he's hired. In 3 seasons, he's hired 4 offensive coordinators and 3 different offensive line coaches.
Yeah.
So
you can't have a quick turnaround like that. That's too much. I give you that.
I mean, again, I'm not because you know what, Jerome, all I care about is what's best for the Miami Dolphins. Just like in college football, all I care about is what's best for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them. My offseason with the Dolphins was already figured out.
Yeah.
Let's bring in a new offensive coordinator. Let's hire a new offensive line coach. Let's sign 2 offensive linemen. Let's draft a couple offensive linemen, and let's go. And the offensive linemen that they had last year, the kid from USC, of course, I'm trying to remember.
Robert, is it Robert?
No, it's
Oh man, I know so. I know so. Oh man, it's gonna bug me.
It's gonna bug me too. But anyway, he was the guy who made that pick. He wanted that offensive lineman from USC.
I could have sworn something Roberts, but I'm going crazy. But go ahead.
Again, I don't. I honestly, right now, I don't know exactly how to feel. I don't. I feel like I want to know who the new coach is going to be. Obviously, I would be very surprised if it's not an offensive-minded coach. I would be.
Yeah, and it's funny you said
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson. There you go. You're right. Austin
Jackson. You shouldn't have been taken in the first round to begin with.
Yeah. That was actually going to be my question. Would you mind having former Eagles coach?
I like Doug Peterson. I like him. I'll take Brian Doble from Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one too.
There's several guys I would like. What I really hope they do is they keep some of the defensive coaching staff intact and don't change their defense because their defense was fine.
Definitely.
Now, here's another thing. Going into the season, they cut two offensive linemen or didn't re-sign them, however you want to say it, cut them, and then brought back the youngest offensive line in pro football. And let's face it, they were not bad. They were horrible. So you decided not to bring back Flowers, not to bring back the center, and then go with a bad young offensive line with a first-year quarterback.
Yeah.
Who does that? Have you ever heard of anything like that? No. Andy Reid, his first year with Philadelphia, drafted a rookie quarterback. And before he even let him step on the field, he made sure he had a stone offensive line in front of him.
Yeah, no, you're
right.
For
whatever people say, like I hear people say, well, their wide receivers for the Eagles were not good. No, but they can protect against any team in the league.
No, you're right.
John Runyon, Trey Thomas, a very good offensive line. Jerome, I don't know if it was a good move or a bad move. Time will tell. Mm-hmm. I know that we're going back to the fact that I didn't want them to draft Tua.
Yeah.
I didn't. I wanted them to draft Herbert. Okay? Now, but I have Tua now. I have to make it work.
Yeah.
And if Brian Flores winning the last season and didn't want Tua and let the GM draft him, he had no choice but to make it work. Here's another thing. Is it a coincidence as soon as the Deshaun Watson rumors went away, Tua started playing better football? Is that a coincidence? Whose fault is that? Is that Brian Flores' fault?
Yeah. I see. I hear
you. Who took the brunt of the criticism? Who was the guy that lost his job?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Again, I'm not saying that it was a good move, and I've been hearing it from everybody as a horrible move. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying they're wrong.
It was definitely not a good move. But I mean, what you're saying is true. You gotta kind of diffuse that early. I mean, that's what the Eagles did, man. And I hated the move at the time too with the Eagles, but it might have been good. I mean, I'm still stressed out for me on Nick Sirianni. I still need to see more from him. And we'll see how this playoff go. I have very low expectation for my Eagles, but I mean it from all the stuff that came out afterwards. When I'm hearing from about Doug Peterson and relationship with him and Howie, which that's a whole nother subject. But I just think it was time to go, and sometimes it had to be like that. Just
one other thing, if I were the owner, and that's the other thing. Like, let's face it, man. The Dolphins have a bad owner.
Yeah.
He's rich as is rich, but he's a bad owner.
Yeah.
But I can't control who owns the team. I wish I could. I wish I had the money to own the team. But that's never going to be in the cards. So
never say never, sir.
And the other thing is, if I was going to fire the coach, I would have fired the GM too.
Yeah.
Now, I do agree with that, but you know how it is, Jerome.
Mm-hmm.
The owner goes and talks to the GM. The GM points the finger at everybody but himself.
Yeah.
And then that's how it shakes out. That's how it always shakes out.
I never understood how GMs never collaborate with the coaches, because the coaches need to have the players that help. It's ultimately your decision, but at the same time, especially with quarterback position, you have to have a coach that mesh with the quarterback. I mean,
correct. Here's the thing you can't have. You can't have a coach who openly doesn't believe in the quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what you can't have.
Yeah. I mean,
have you ever heard of a head coach bad-mouthing a quarterback? And I know he didn't bad-mouth him in the media. Okay, but he was, again, man, and I don't know everything that happened. Only the owner, the GM, and the coach do.
Yeah.
But when I heard that Tua had to be pulled away from Brian Flores, I'm like, talk about somebody acting out of character. The one thing you've heard me say is I love Tua as a person.
Yeah.
He is a great kid.
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody question that. Never.
Yeah.
And the fact that he thought that he had to get up and defend himself against the coach tells you a lot, man. It really does.
Definitely. Well, we're going to end it here because I guess my internet's kind of being crazy right now. But once again, guys, thank you for being on. Thank you for checking us out. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up on that notification button so you know we're live, and you can put your live comments in here. Like my guy Avery, like my guy Jacob, and my man Lewis. Congratulations again to your success.
One thing, Jacob, you might want to watch the game.
Watch the game, Jacob. Watch the game. But guys, make sure you stay locked in because we're going to be talking a lot of draft stuff. We're going to be talking about the Senior Bowl, which we're going to be going down in a couple of weeks. So please make sure you go in there, stay locked in, and have fun with all that off-season stuff because I love this part of the year. You know, I love football. I love watching football, but I also love having the off-season, talking about draft picks and where we're going to go and stuff like that. It's one of my favorite times of the year. So
I love the draft. It's Christmas time to me now, man.
Yes,
Christmas.
Sir.
I love the draft. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So make sure you stay locked in so you can hear all that great knowledge and anything you need to know about certain players and things like that. And make sure you check us out because we got a lot of player interviews that are coming up. A lot of players are going into the draft. We're going to be interviewing a lot of them throughout the season. So make sure you check us out on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify on there as well. So I'm Jerome Jones. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts right over there. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. We really do appreciate it. Hope you have a good night. Stay safe and enjoy some college, some NFL playoffs coming this Saturday. So thank you guys so much. And check out Air It Out Podcast tomorrow.
One more thing, Drum, if you don't mind. I don't know what's going to happen in the Eagles game, but God, I hope they knocked everybody out of the playoffs. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right.